What happens when a self-entitled woman decides to obstruct a royal guard's path in London? Hold on to your seats as this story unfolds into a hilarious and jaw-dropping lesson in respect and consequences that no one saw coming. It was a quintessential sunny day in London, where the historical heart of the city beat with energy, excitement, and the mingling of various cultures. Among the bustling crowd of tourists was Karen, a woman accustomed to receiving attention wherever she went. Known for her loud and demanding personality, Karen had a flair for the dramatic that often led her to think that the world revolved around her. Today, she was in London with her close friends, excited to experience the changing of the guard ceremony at Buckingham Palace. With her designer sunglasses, flawlessly styled hair, and a purse more akin to a small suitcase, Karen was a self-proclaimed diva who expected nothing less than the perfect day. As they approached the palace gates, Karen pulled out her phone, poised to document every moment for her social media followers. "This is going to be epic," she declared, igniting a chorus of half-hearted cheers from her friends, who were acutely aware of her tendency to be the center of attention. Although they were excited about the ceremony, they also knew Karen could be a handful. "Let's just enjoy the moment," one friend suggested, her tone edged with concern. "You know how you get when things don't go your way." "Relax, I know exactly what I'm doing," Karen replied dismissively as she rolled her eyes. Little did she know that her quest for the perfect photo opportunity was going to lead to an unforgettable encounter that would challenge her perception of respect and entitlement. As the lively crowd gathered, Karen's eyes landed on the iconic royal guards, resplendent in their red tunics and towering bearskin hats. Standing resolutely at attention, their unwavering demeanor screamed centuries of tradition and discipline. The guards were well trained, and the ceremony itself was a revered eventone that Karen was blissfully oblivious to. Suddenly, Karen spotted her chance for the perfect photo. "Look, I'm going to get a selfie with that guard right there," she exclaimed, pointing dramatically at one of the soldiers marching by. "Are you serious? You can't just go blocking a guard," her friend warned, her voice laced with trepidation. But Karen was already strutting towards the guard with a determined air, her phone raised high, eager to capture the moment. "Hey you! Get ready to smile!" Karen shouted at the guard, startling not only him but also the people around her, who were now glued to the unfolding drama. The guard, a young man named Private Oliver, remained stoic, his eyes fixed straight ahead. Under no circumstances was he allowed to break protocol or show any reaction to passing distractions. He was there to represent the monarchy, and he took his duty seriously. Karen, unfazed by the guard's lack of response, took a few steps directly into his path, blocking his march. "Excuse me, I need you to smile for my picture," she commanded, hands on her hips. The bewildered onlookers gasped at the audacity of her actions. "Ma'am, please step aside," Private Oliver said in a firm, authoritative tone. He had dealt with distractions before, but this was a new level of intervention. Karen, however, only laughed. "Nope, this is my moment. You're a royal guard, and I'm making a memory." She positioned herself closer, arms spread wide, ready to snap what she considered a defining photo. The crowd began to murmur, torn between amusement and disbelief. Many had already taken out their phones to capture Karen's antics. "Respect the guard!" shouted a bystander, while others encouraged the guard to maintain his dignity. The camaraderie among the crowd showed that many were firmly on Private Oliver's side. As Private Oliver continued to march, Karen stood defiantly in his way, unwilling to back down. "Are you really going to just ignore me?" she quipped, dramatically flipping her hair back without reconsidering her actions. At this point, the atmosphere was charged with anticipation. Karen had crossed a line, and onlookers were fascinated by her tenacity, while at the same time feeling the tension of the moment. "Hey, move aside!" someone yelled from the crowd, prompting a wave of laughter. "You're blocking the guard!" Suddenly, as if the universe had grown tired of Karen's self-importance, karma struck. Just as Karen was ready to take her photo, a sudden gust of wind blew through the area, catching her sun hat and hurling it directly in front of Private Oliver. The hat landed at his feet, and Private Oliver, trained to exhibit composure at all costs, paused once more. He glanced down briefly, then looked back at Karen, who was now flustered and attempting to retrieve her hat before the guard could take another step. "Do you want your hat back?" he asked, deliberately maintaining his gaze forward. The crowd erupted into laughter once more as people began to record the absurdity of the moment. "Yes, obviously. Can you just hand it to me?" Karen replied, a hint of desperation creeping into her voice. "Then perhaps you should step aside," Private Oliver suggested unwaveringly. The crowd cheered and laughed, some even clapping for the guard's patience and professionalism. "Fine!" she shouted, retreating a step or two, all the while maintaining her pride. The moment was quickly turning into a spectacle, and she realized how ridiculous her stance had become. Private Oliver picked up her hat with one hand, holding it high above his head. "Ma'am, if you wish to retrieve this hat, I suggest stepping aside first." The humor of the situation settled in, and the crowd could hardly contain their laughter. Faced with the comedic judgment of the onlookers, Karen's bravado started to fade. She took a deep breath, trying to salvage what little dignity remained, and stepped to the side. "Well, thanks for being so dramatic about it," she retorted, though her smile faltered as the crowd continued to revel in her humiliation. Finally, Private Oliver handed her the hat, still standing tall and composed. "Consider this a lesson in respect, ma'am," he said, his tone firm yet devoid of malice. Karen, now relegated to feeling embarrassed and foolish, took her hat but did not offer any thanks. Instead, she turned and walked away, fuming. The hush that followed her departure was replaced with cheers for the royal guard, who maintained his stoic demeanor and carried on with his duty. As Private Oliver returned to his position, he felt a rush of pride and camaraderie with the bystanders. The experience reminded him that the role of the royal guard extended beyond standing at attention. It was also about engaging with the public in a way that encouraged respect for traditions. Discussions erupted in the crowd as the changing of the guard resumed. "Did you see how calmly he handled that?" one person exclaimed. "That guy has the patience of a saint." Others chimed in with similar sentiments. Meanwhile, videos of Karen's antics circulated on social media, and she quickly found herself at the center of online discourse. "What a legend that guard is," a tweet read, gaining likes and retweets at an incredible rate. "Someone tell Karen to respect royal guards." The hashtag number #KarenVsGuard began trending, and soon Karen was inundated with memes and commentary about the altercation. At first, she tried to brush it off, but as the reactions grew, so did her embarrassment. Days passed, but her folly did not fade from public memory. Karen's phone buzzed incessantly with notifications from friends and followers, sending her links to her newfound infamy. One friend texted her, "Is this really you? How did you manage to get yourself into this mess?" Feeling cornered and humiliated, she finally decided enough was enough. "I need to clear this up," Karen muttered to herself, pulling out her phone again. She began typing a post about her experience, determined to frame the narrative in her favor. "Today I had an unfortunate encounter with a royal guard who didn't appreciate my attempts to bring some fun into the stuffy tradition," she wrote, carefully crafting her words. "I mean, why wouldn't he want to smile for a photo? I'm just trying to enjoy my time in London." She hit post, feeling a sense of empowerment, but that empowerment quickly turned to dismay as the responses flooded in. "You seriously blocked a royal guard and thought you could just take a photo? Get a grip," read one reply. "Maybe try respect next time," another comment echoed. Realizing she had opened the floodgates to even more criticism and ridicule, Karen took her post down just hours later. "This is out of control," she lamented, scrolling through the posts and feeling the weight of the online backlash. Meanwhile, Private Oliver had moved on from the incident. He continued to perform his duties with pride, but the story made its rounds among his comrades. They teasingly referred to him as the guard of respect, and Oliver found the humor in it. Yet, something inside him stirred a desire to turn the drama into a lesson not just for Karen, but for the public. With the backing of his superiors, he proposed hosting a community event a day meant to encourage respectful interaction between the guards and the public. We can create opportunities for people to learn about our history and the significance of respect while keeping it fun, he pitched to his commander. His superior was impressed. That actually sounds great, Oliver. It will help foster goodwill and educate the public on our customs. Soon, plans for the event took shape. The day would feature discussions about the history of the guards, interactive displays, and the importance of etiquette surrounding the monarchy. They even invited community leaders and historians to participate, making it a true learning experience. Months later, on the day of the event, everything was set up perfectly. Banners adorned the area near Buckingham Palace, and the excitement among visitors built as they gathered to learn more. Children giggled as they posed for pictures with the guards, who were ready to engage respectfully. Private James took center stage, addressing the crowd with enthusiasm. Today, we celebrate respect and understanding. Each of us has the power to make our interactions meaningful and impactful. Let's learn from each other. As the crowd cheered, Karina Change Person stood watching from a distance. After much reflection on her behavior, she felt compelled to attend, wanting to take responsibility for her actions. She realized she wouldn't find redemption through social media drama, but rather through genuine contrition. As the day went on, Karen watched children interact with the guards, asking all sorts of questions, everything from why they wore their uniforms to the history behind the guards. For the first time, Karen felt a pang of regret. It was clear how much people revered the guards, and she marveled at the respect they commanded. Drawing courage from a moment of clarity, Karen approached Private James, who was busy answering questions from a little girl about his duties. When the girl finished, she looked up at Karen with curiosity, eyes wide. "I just wanted to say that I'm really sorry," Karen began, her voice steady despite her nerves. "I made a fool of myself the other day. I didn't respect your role, and I've learnt a lot since then." Private James looked at her, surprised. "Thank you for saying that. It takes courage to acknowledge mistakes. I've been reflecting a lot, and I realize that how we treat others is essentially those who serve us." "I didn't grasp that before," Karen admitted sincerely, her vulnerability making her seem more relatable. A smile broke across James's face. "We all make mistakes. What matters is how we grow from them. This day is about building bridges and understanding," he replied, extending a hand for a shake. In that moment, Karen felt a warmth wash over her. It was healing, and she knew she was finally on the path towards understanding respect, both for herself and for others. From that day on, Karen became an ambassador for respect in her community, working alongside Community L, leaders to foster understanding and appreciation toward those who serve the public. The incident that had once left her embarrassed became not only a lesson for her, but a catalyst for change in her life. Private James, too, learned that while there would always be instances of entitlement, it was his duty to represent not just the monarchy, but also the values of dignity, respect, and the power of humility. The path forward for both Karen and Private James intertwined, each contributing to a greater conversation about respect and humanity. In the grand tapestry of life, the encounter at Buckingham Palace unveiled the beauty of learning from one another, urging individuals to rise above entitlement and embrace the shared responsibility of building a better world. Through laughter, challenges, and transformative experiences, they created a narrative of hope and change, illustrating how even the most embarrassing moments can turn into powerful stories of growth, love, and mutual respect.